Oh, man. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet God gave us. Today, it's been a little challenging this morning. Gathering up show prep, technical difficulties, but we're going to persevere. We're going to persevere. So I got the bugs out. You know, you ever get up and then you're like the day before everything was fine with your equipment. And then you get on and you get all this stuff ready and then something is wrong. Either something's wrong with the volume. There was something wrong with my external hard drive. I go to start recording and it's like we don't know where to put it. Because you got to tell it where to go once you stop recording. I'm like, well, I always tell it where to go. I've never had this. What is going on here? So I don't know. And then it said, obviously my computer wasn't reading my external hard drive and I kind of panicked. But I could still go on without it. But I was like, I really need this external hard drive because I use it for storage. But anyway, what a day. What a day. What a day. The sun's come out here the past several days, all through the weekend. It's been rainy and chilly and so fall is here. Winter is just around the corner, but it's sunshiny and beautiful out today, but I'm cold. So, yeah, I'm all warm with this woolly kind of thingy I've got on to keep me warm while I'm sitting here on my butt because I'm not doing anything. If you like these things I play on the side here, they're on my page. I made these. And this right here is, what is it? This is Spider. And these are expert level Spider games that I actually played myself and beat them. And they're very hard. Well, the expert levels are hard for me. On my phone, I do the master ones, and sometimes it might take me a few days. Like, if I just want to sit and relax and chill, right, I'm done looking at television, I'll just goof on the games. And it is Microsoft, by the way. It's a Microsoft application. I have one on the computer, and I also have the same one. The account is on my phone. But if it's got nice music, peaceful music, and I generated these off of an AI app for the spiders. It took a while to do it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I enjoy it. I'm gonna watch them. Basically, I just have it on for the music because it's so pleasant. It's so pleasant. So if you're interested in any of these that I play in my video, go look at the playlist for that. Now, J.K. Rowling is pissed at Glamour magazine in the UK, and rightly so she is. And we got a couple of things to go over today. That's going to be like the main story. I think the second main is going to be, we're going to do an overview summary of the school teacher who was shot by her 6-year-old student in first grade. We're going to go over the testimony from yesterday. I've got a quick summary of it, so it's not super terribly long. And the defense is rested. I think they called 3 people, if that. It's crazy. I didn't watch all the testimony yesterday, but I started looking at a little bit last night, and they had this older woman on there, the defense did. Maybe I watched 10 minutes of it and went, oh my God. I'm going to have to wait and get a summary of this because right out the gate, obviously she says, what's all your credentials? And she rambles on this list of credentials, and she's been in the school system for 50 years or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this is what's wrong with the school system. And then the defense, the lady, she said, the defense attorney is a woman. Did Mrs. Parker have any responsibility? Was it all her responsibility? And of course you knew what the witness was going to say. She said no. I was like, oh my God. It was crazy. So I was like, no, I can't watch this because I already know this train wreck. I know this train wreck. They're gonna have. And they had another psychiatrist on there, to dispute the prosecution's. He's a forensic psychiatrist, the one they had for the prosecution, and I thought he did an excellent job. So they had to get the defense had to get their expert to debunk him. It's insane. It's insane. And there's some other things in the news, so there's going to be our two top stories today. But check this out. What the hell is this? This is... I don't even know who she is, by the way. If y'all could see this, let me move this up. Bianca Censori accessorizes her underwear with a Birkin bag and heels for Melbourne Airport. Okay, Melbourne Airport. So this woman, and I don't know who she is. Y'all can tell me. Is she some model? Let's see if I can get this on here like this. Okay, look. Okay, she's accessorized. So my question is to you. Who the hell dresses like this to go to the airport? The real folk, right? Us underlings. What the hell is this? What? Did she just get done at the gym? She didn't have time to change. Was she at a dance studio? Was she doing ballet? Was she doing aerobics? Remember that back in the 80s, guys? All you old folks out there with me? But that was a big thing in the 80s. And look at this. Come on, work with me now. Work with me. Here we go. Every time I go back up, let me go fast. Okay, there we go. I know, it's annoying. It annoys me. Look at this. Who does this? Who does this? So, I just thought it was funny. Like, who the hell does this? This is crazy. Okay, I just thought that was goofy. But there's a couple other things in the news. Cheney died, you guys. If any young people are watching this, you probably don't know who Dick Cheney is. He was 84. He died yesterday. And he was with his family. And, wow. I guess it does seem like a lifetime ago. Dick Cheney and Bush. And when he kind of a turncoat, I mean, his daughter, what the hell? What the hell was up with his daughter? I mean, he come out and goes, yeah, he's proud of his daughter. She's all gay and shit. And, God, I guess at a time where obviously the country was not accepting it. I think to some extent the country still does not accept it. And how about Tucker Carlson? Right off break, conspiracy cuck, Tucker Carlson. He's no conservative, and he's no friend of Charlie Kirk and J.D. Vance. So Tucker Carlson, goes and interviews Nick Fuentes, doesn't push back on him of outrageous statements that Nick Fuentes has stated in the past. I mean, a lot of people just think he's a racist and kind of thing, but he said, I watched some of the interview, and then you would probably agree with some of the things Fuentes says. I'm just going to say it. But his overall mind screw, whatever you want to call it, his mind screw, no. I don't want to listen to this guy. Because he's all over the place. You don't know what the hell he is. Is he a Christian? Is he a communist? Is he a patriot? Is he a racist? Does he hate the Jews? I mean, it's all over the place, and it just hurts my brain to try to figure that out. Apparently, no more hanging out skimpy uniforms at Hooters. Founders take back control of the chain, so I think you're not going to be seeing butt cheeks hanging out and stuff, so they're going to kind of clean it up just a little bit, but they're still going to to hire, you know, pretty young little things, which is fine, right? Girl, attractive, goes and gets the job there. She can make good tips while she's going to college and this kind of thing. Oh, and one more thing before we get started. Young girls on campus, and I guess maybe young men too, and maybe this is happening everywhere, not necessarily on campus, but campus influencers are in tears over having fewer followers than their peers. And the grift is ruining their college experience. What the hell? What the hell is happening? Does everybody just want clicks and likes and just, you know, striving for that as a young person? You're in college. You're supposed to be studying and learning a degree to whatever it is you're going to do in your life. And you're worried about social media? Look, I'm not worried about this social media. I mean, I've been on here for a while, guys, and I do respect and love. I've got, what, as of today, what is it, like 378 subs to my channel. I'm appreciative. Those people that want to listen to me yap and get my take on things and this kind of stuff. It's fine. If nobody watches it, nobody watches it. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to just keep persevering, but I'm not going to cry about it. You know, life still goes on. You still have your everyday life crap you got to do, right? This kind of stuff. I just thought that was like crazy. Is like these young people are so worried about this. There's a whole article on it. I'm not going to read the whole article. I was just going over the headline of that. Like, good Lord. This is just crazy. And there's a lot of goofy things going on. I'm so sick of seeing stuff about the footballs too, right? And anyway, one more little quick note. Supreme Court could blow up. Trump tariff agenda and biggest case of his second term. And it's uncertain how they're going to go, but I think we need them. He's used it to leverage to stop wars. He's used it to leverage for other countries to stop screwing us over, where they can import all their damn cars, but nobody's buying our shit. Nobody wants our shit. And then finally, we've got the soybean to go out. China's going to start buying it. And why wouldn't they buy soybean? Because soybean's not good for you. Anyway, that's a side note. We need to pray that the Supreme Court is going to come to this conclusion that let Trump do the tariffs. It's protecting us. It's bringing in money. Now, I know the other side's like, well, it's making everything cost more. Look, things are going to smooth out. You got to give this man time. He's been in for what? It's been 9 months now. And he has done massive, probably more than any other president has ever done in the first 9 months of his second term. Guys, we were a disaster with Biden and Harris. Do we need to go over this? So you got to give time for the economy and all the things that he's doing to catch up with each other. And it will. Look, I'm thinking, God, the gas prices here, they did peak up a little bit. It got to $2.50, and I'm like, what's going on? Because it got down to like $2.30 something. So for a week, it was up a little high, up into the little $2.50 something. And then now it's back down to $2.30 something. I saw it this morning, and I'm like, sweet. So that is a good thing. All right, let's get to our top story. I'm going to hit mute on that. I'm going to let that play. Do that. So we're going to get to this article. J.K. Rowling is amazing. So, J.K. Rowling. Let's see if I can get this in for you guys. Yeah, little adjustments here and there. Look up at the corner that it's been on there this whole time. Up in your left-hand side of your screen is the Glamor UK. And look what they're calling these men. the dolls. What the hell? J.K. Rowling leads outrage over Glamour UK names group of trans dolls as Women of the Year. Women of the Year. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what, the UK is going to hell in a handbasket. They can't get a hold of the immigration. People are getting attacked. Sometimes you got to be careful about what you say on YouTube. RAPE, either murdered, stabbed, robbed by illegals. This could have happened to us. We dodged a nuclear bomb by electing Donald Trump. Because if Kamala Harris would have came in, she would have continued these policies. Our speech would have still been stifled. They probably would have did something to Elon Musk. Maybe did something to him because he buys X, Twitter, reinstates people's pages, their Twitter accounts, because the Biden administration was stifling free speech, shutting down accounts. So we dodged a nuclear bomb because they continued to let illegals in. And look what's happening in the UK. You can go and look at the disaster that the UK has become. We're going to read this article here. This is going to... I hate it when it does this. Here we go. The British Gazette said it was bestowing the annual award to 9 trans women dubbed the Dolls, saying they are trailblazers. Their trailblazers work tirelessly to empower, uplift, and celebrate trans voices. I am so inspired. Are you? I am so inspired. I'm so filled with the the uplifting empowerment that they did this. They were so brave to make these men to be Women of the Year. But Rowling, the Harry Potter author who's spoken out against trans issues, panned the decision. And there she is. She's a beautiful lady. She is just not only beautiful inside and out, but she's talented. I believe she's thankful. She come from very humble beginnings. And she's like, I don't even know if she's a billionaire yet. She might be. I didn't go deep dive into that. But she is still humble. And she is still sticking to her roots. Now look at here. So here she... Oh, I hate it when it does that. That thing pops up at the top. Now, this is what... She is great with words. I wonder if she's working on another book and ain't telling nobody. I mean, it could be possible. She writes this. She's right now. Mainstream women's magazines are telling girls that men are better women than they are. Because this stupid ass magazine gives them to men. Women of the Year gives them to men. It's insane. It's just insane. But again, we dodged a bullet because we'd be just like them. This would be happening right here in the United States right now, shoved down our throats if kooky Kamala Harris got elected. I tell you what, they'd be making us say all these pronouns and people wouldn't get their YouTube pages back over the COVID crap. I mean, it was just crap upon crap upon crap. She says, I grew up in an era when mainstream women's magazines told girls they needed to be thinner and prettier, she wrote on X, with a photo of the dolls, a term endearment among the trans community. So, they're always dolls. No mainstream women's magazine tells girls that men are better women than they are. Now mainstream women's magazines tell girls. Well, back in the day, everybody was thin, beautiful, big hair. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, right? But it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Now it's like, okay, you can't fat shame somebody. You may get canceled, but it's okay to be fat. It's just ridiculous. Rowling was not the only one who attacked Glamour UK for its cover. Well, who else did it? Let's see, I don't know who this is. Zubby, a British rapper who has also advocated against the transgender community, agreed with Rowling and criticized those who celebrate the cover. Yeah, I don't know who the hell is celebrating this cover. I think a lot of the mainstream media had led us to believe, like, oh, this is acceptable. Like during the Biden and Harris administration. We embrace. Like, no. Most of the country don't want illegals. They don't want trans men who think they're women reading storybooks to their children. The majority of Americans said no. So I don't know what the hell. I think the people in Europe are getting duped because they didn't get a Trump. They still have these people in power who are allowing the immigration to continue, allowing the woke agenda on steroids to go plaid, and there's no hope in sight. And I feel sorry for those people because I bet a majority of the primary citizens of there don't want this. Now, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Maybe they're all woke and left and ridiculous and crazy all at the same time. The trans movement is easily the most misogynistic movement in modern history, especially because its scale and mainstream acceptance, he wrote. That's the key word, I think, right there, or key term, is mainstream. Mainstream media is dying, and they know it. It's social media now. Podcasters, VTubers, YouTubers, Twitch, Rumble, Kick. A lot of the young people are on Twitch or on Kick. I think a lot of the older folks, I mean, I wouldn't know what the age would be, but I would think maybe 30 and up, maybe are geared towards more YouTube. And who the hell is still paying for cable, for God's sakes? You have everything you need online. Your TVs are smart. You know, I did predict this when we first got internet in the home. Remember the old dial-up? You know, remember that noise? You got mail. So we had gotten internet. And then somebody's like, oh, you need to check out Facebook. So I started, you know, and then there was MySpace and things like this. And I said, wow. So I'm seeing all this stuff. And, you know, I got a laptop. I had a Dell. It was big and it was heavy, but I liked it. I had problems with bugs, viruses, and I had to learn how to clean it out, which was annoying. And then I got to where I hated Windows, and then I got a Mac, and I was like, ooh, I'm probably never going to go back. But right now I have an HP, so it does run on Windows. I couldn't afford a Mac computer because, my God, they're so expensive. But I would have loved to have had another Mac. But I even think then some of those are now maybe not as good as they were at first. Remember when you first got your Apple phone and then you didn't have a bunch of robocalls and this kind of crap? But now you do, so everything got infiltrated, didn't it? All of that stuff got that way, you know? It's like, damn, blame it. But now everything's geared. Oh, my prediction was everything's going to be on the television. I said to some of my family members, I was like, you know what? All of this, it's probably going to combine into your television set. So you're not having to have a computer or TV and all of this stuff. And then boom, they came out with smart TVs that you could go online with. You can have the app, download the apps on there, or some of the TVs already come with all these other apps. The Samsung here does have it looks like a cable, but it has a bunch of channels. I don't like looking at it because they're just bombarded with commercials, and I but they've got some music channels and stuff like that, but then you get a bunch of commercials. But anyway, I had predicted that everything would go to the television. Whether I was a pioneer in thinking that, I have no clue. I just thought it was realistic that this would be the future. All London, a fellow Brit who has become a vocal critic of the trans community after detransitioning, joined in on the outrage. So we've got somebody, and look at this. What the hell is that? That's not even a woman. It's disturbing on so many different levels, to be honest with you. Who is this? This is Mauro Berganoff, attending the Glamour Woman of the Year Award 2025 in London on October 30th, 2025. Oh, no. Oh, no. Bro is fat. How is this glamorous? I'm going to say the part out loud that maybe a lot of people don't want to say. But this is so true. It probably doesn't matter how old you are. When you watch movies or you watch things, it's probably just instinctive that you like looking at beautiful people. The beautiful people. It's instinctive. Do you want to watch a show that's just full of a bunch of trans men and fat people and ugly people? No. These type of shows are not successful. What's successful is beautiful people. That's it. There's no way of getting around it. Who wants to look at this in a magazine? Do you want to see this guy in a bikini? Seriously. No. Let's see. Glamour magazine UK features 9 transgender men on the cover and calls them Women of the Year, London wrote. Glamour's US magazine faced backlash earlier this week for naming actress Rachel Zegler and children's YouTuber Miss Rachel as its latest Woman of the Year, following their criticism of Israel's war in Gaza. Ziegler caused chaos for Disney after she posted an Always Remember Free Palestine. Wow. Okay. And always remember Free Palestine shortly after the Snow White trailer first dropped, which was a disaster. Nobody watched it. It was a huge flop. Because it's all part of this woke crap, so she comes out and she says, a guy wasn't going to come and kiss her to wake her up in the story of Snow White. Did y'all see some of the images of who they had for midgets? Dwarfs, people who are dwarfs? Which could have created jobs because there's limited jobs in Hollywood for dwarfs. And who's the dwarf guy that was in Game of Thrones? He come out and said, oh, this is degrading or whatever. Yeah, he can say that, but he got that job in Game of Thrones, and now he's a multimillionaire. Yeah, he could sit there on his high throne and say that shit. But then you have other dwarfs that would be like, oh my God, there's 7. How many dwarfs were there in Snow White? That could have been jobs for these people. No, they had all these different sized people, and some of them were women. It was ridiculous, it was an epic fail, by the way. Nobody went to see that. Later reports claim that she and her Israel co-star Gail Gadot were butting heads over the conflict. Gail is is that Wonder Woman? Ew, look at this. What the hell? What the hell is this, guys? Good Lord. There's another one. These are all men. Mrs. Rachel, a 42-year-old mom whose real name is Rachel Griffin, a Casero. Meanwhile, did I? Well, no, because that was the Snow White. That was Zegler. Okay. So meanwhile, made numerous posts about the deaths of children in Gaza and recorded herself praying for Palestine kids in the war-torn strip. I think a lot of these people need to shut up. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't talk about it. I think that's my cue too. If either I'll go over something, but I'll be analyzing and watching a video with you guys. People who can explain this stuff. Like I had Andrew Branca on my show yesterday, because he knows a lot about judges and the law and the Constitution. And I've learned a lot from him, but I can't sit here and explain it, right? So you just jump on the bandwagon that Israel's just arbitrarily killing people when you leave out Hamas as a terrorist group embedded in Palestine and using the citizens as shields. So I do understand that aspect of it, that you just can't blame all of this on Israel. And what if somebody comes and attacks us? Do we just go, oh, we can't attack them back because they're embedded with innocent people? What do? You tell me. You tell me how to solve that problem. Her advocacy prompted Stop Anti-Semitism to request the Department of Justice investigate into whether she was being backed by Hamas. Holy crap. Apparently, the Biden administration, was giving Palestinian media groups like $1 million. 1.6 million, and I saw that. I was like, what the hell? Why are you giving them money? And everybody's worried, like, oh, we need to stop getting involved in other people's conflicts. Okay, I get all that. So why aren't you pissed at the Biden administration? Because I haven't heard nobody from the left say, why'd you send them money? Stop sending these other countries money. But maybe they were okay because it was the Palestinian media group. But really, guys, do you really think they got that money? Or did the terrorists get it? Who knows? I grew up in an era when mainstream women's magazines told girls they needed to be thinner and prettier. Now, mainstream women's magazines tell girls that men are better women than they are. That's insane. That's insane. Y'all need to let me know what you think about that. Now, we're going to do a quick on the second top story, and then we're going to wrap this up. So it shouldn't take too long to go over the details of Zawarner, the teacher who was shot by her 6th grade student in her classroom. Okay, now we're going to get into our second story. They're not going to air the testimony from... I was looking at this last night, and I only looked at it for like 10 minutes or something, and I was like, oh my God. But I went to look to see for the whole the whole afternoon over how long they took, because they only had a handful of witnesses, and then they rested. I mean, the prosecution went 3 days. But anyway, I go to court TV and it says notify me. They're not going to air yesterday's testimony until tomorrow. And I'm like, for the whole entirety. So this is just a court TV show who's showing some clips and then they're going to talk about it and blah, 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 blah. I was like, Dad, blame. Whatever, this is what I got for you. While I read the outline. So before that, I found this, and I wanted to know, let me get this over here. Why are you doing this to me? I wanted to know if there was any other incidents in Virginia, because that's what we're talking about. Was there any other incidents of school violence in elementary schools that dealt with firearms or any kind of weapons before this? Or, you know, because we got the impression from the defense that was saying, well, nobody could have fathomed that he legitimately had a gun, right? So they're like, so the blame is on everybody, right? That's what we talked about the other day. I covered the 3 days into one video. It's like a 2-hour video though, but you know, whatever. But I went over a lot of the 3-day testimony and things like that. So the overall theme is that it's a shared blame and that it's unthinkable that a 6-year-old would do this. So I'm thinking, well, what's going on here? So I wanted to know if there was any other incidents. And so this came up. I got this. So it gives us a little bit of insight. It says Virginia has seen a notable uptick in reported cases of elementary school students bringing weapons, primarily firearms, to school in recent years, often linked to unsecured guns at home. These incidents have prompt stricter school safety measures, parental notifications, and gun storage, and legal charges against caregivers. Okay, so in recent years, this has been a guideline for these schools, elementary schools, to do these things, right? Timeline or confirmed cases involving elementary schools, students typically ages 5 to 11, focuses on firearms unless otherwise, and obviously in a lot of obviously, in all these other instances, there had been no injuries other than students occurred in these non-shooting discoveries, but several involved accidental discharges or prior warnings. So they had got warned, they took care of it, this kind of thing. So here we have an outline, and this outline is going to start from January 2023, which we all know what happened on January 6th. The 6-year-old brought a weapon and shot his teacher. But check this out, February 16th, 2023. So this happened at Little Creek Elementary School in Norfolk, Virginia. A 6-year-old brought a loaded handgun to school, discovered after dismissal when staff found it in his backpack. This marked the 4th such incident involving a 6-year-old nationwide that year. Now, I didn't go nationwide, and maybe I should have, but I was just focused on Virginia. But hey, if it was nationwide, then wouldn't Virginia school system been alerted to this and put in protocol? And you're going to hear the protocol stuff in the trial too. And in this situation, no injuries. The boy's mother, Lady M. Lopez, was charged with child endangerment and allowing access to a loaded firearm. School enacted immediately Safety protocols and notified parents via mass text messages. So they had to tell everybody, hey man, a kid actually brought a gun to your kid's school. September 17th, 2024, Orange Elementary School in Orange County. A 6-year-old boy arrived late to school with a loaded .22 caliber. What is this stupid? Skip that. Sorry about the stupid commercials. A loaded .22 caliber cowboy style revolver in his book bag. Discovered by an instructional assistant. No prior threats were reported. So, no injuries. The gun was secured by school resource officers. The sheriff urged greater parental diligence in securing weapons. Investigation ongoing into how the child accessed the gun. So we haven't heard anything else. It's not telling me anything else about that. Now, I guess we could go and pull up what has happened nationally. I mean, that might be interesting as far as elementary schools across the nation doing stuff. This is April 7th, 2025. Lee Hill Elementary School, Spotsylvania County. I've never heard of it. It's somewhere in Virginia. A third grader, age 8, brought an unsecured handgun in his backpack. It accidentally discharged inside during class, but no one was hurt. Initial interviews indicated no intent to harm. This was one of 12 national elementary gun incidents that school year. What? So why didn't it give me there was 12? This was one of 12, okay, national, my bad, national elementary gun incidents that year, with 2 involving accidental discharging. So, 12 incidents up to the point of 2025? 12 incidents in elementary schools across the country? Where's the protocol? Where's the protocol? So I'm assuming that Mrs. Parker, being a vice principal, would have had paperwork, updated forms from the state or from government, whatever. I'm just assuming, because they got to get updated protocols, that this has happened even in elementary schools. You need a protocol, you need an action plan. But her defense is that all the teachers are on front line. Everybody, well, okay, sure. Okay, sure. But she was told several times before the incident, several times, on several different occasions, he had 2 students said, he's got a gun. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. Defense is just wanting to have the blame shared. In this case, school evacuated. Parents of the student charged with child endangerment. No injury. Sheriff's office increased patrols at local school. Historical context. Pre-2023 incidents are less documented in public records, as national tracking by groups like the Gun Violence Archive began emphasizing elementary cases around 2019. Virginia's Department of Education reported an average of 1,900 annual student weapon offenses across all school levels. From 2016 to 2020, dropping during COVID-19. Yeah, because nobody was at school. The little darlings were at home. School closures, but specific elementary breakdowns are sparse. Border U.S. data shows 181 non-injury incidents of children ages 0 to 11 bringing guns to school nationwide. From 2019 to 2023, with Virginia contributing several high-profile cases, no mass casualty events at Virginia elementary schools predate the recent cluster, unlike the 2007 Virginia Tech shooting college level, and 32 were killed there. Common factors most involve young boys ages 6 to 8 accessing family firearms, often without intent to harm, but due to curiosity or poor storage. Virginia law and it names the law mandates felony charges for possessing firearms on school property with mandatory minimums if used threateningly. Well, what do you do with an elementary school kid? What do you do with them? This one actually shot his teacher. Thank God she didn't die. I mean, what do you do, people? What do you think? What do you think they should do with him? I think he should be in a special school. He shouldn't go to public school. And more one-on-one working with him. But I don't think he's not going to forget it. He's never going to forget it. Like I was telling my little story the other day, it was Sunday, I did a review on the first 3 days. I talked about my memory of first grade. I got a spanking because I brought a note home not knowing what's in the note because I can't read yet. Well, I can't read like that. I can't read cursive. And apparently I talked too much in class, and I don't even remember that. But I remember Mom whipping me. And I didn't know why she's whipping me. I didn't know. I mean, that's how I remember it. That she started whipping me, but in hindsight, thinking back on it, well, that's why she whipped me. But at the time, I'm like, what's happening? Post 2023, at least 10 Virginia districts, Alexandria and Portsmouth, adopted weapons detectors. I would think that would probably be more in middle school or high school. State laws now require annual parental notices on safety gun storage, and school boards must expel students for bringing firearms. Yeah. Why would you do that? And this is an insane world we're living in that, you parents out there, I still have a boy, he's in high school. You get this list of stuff at the beginning of the year of behavioral expectations and things like that. Yeah, this is crazy that they have to add firearms and then a firearm safety for you, because I guess people are dumbasses and leave their weapons around for a child to be able to get a hold of. In 2023 alone, 22 U.S. elementary gun incidents were reported, non-injury, including 3 with 6-year-olds. By 2025, elementary cases remained elevated, per the National Association of School Resource Offices. What the hell? So is this just going to be something that's just common now, that these kids are bringing these weapons to school in elementary? All these cases highlighted ongoing challenges with household gun access. Experts recommend locked storage and school mental health resources. For the latest, we can go check the Virginia Department of Education reports on local sheriff's updates. So that I thought was very interesting. And I didn't go do a national one. I probably should have, but it just said there was like 22 of them or some craziness like that. What the hell? So I'm assuming that Ebony Parker, being an assistant principal, had access to all this information, because I would assume this would go nationwide. That there's been other incidents in elementary schools. And as we read the other day when I did a video, they were talking about this particular school has a high incident rate of disrupted children, right? These kids are bad. They act out. They're bad. So, and this particular boy was really bad. We talked about the other day where he was 5. I guess he was in the kindergarten. He comes up behind the teacher. I guess she's bent over, whatever, how he got to her, puts her in a chokehold, pulls her head back. He gets expelled from that school. And what do? They put him in Rich Neck School. So they know his history. They know he's a problem. And then 2 children come and tell another teacher, Miss Novak, that he has a weapon. Miss Novak immediately goes and tells Parker. Did Parker get off the computer because there's testing going on and do anything about it? Knowing this kid is a basket case. Knowing he has problems. And right before, she tells him about the two girls who said, I believe it was two girls, said he has a weapon. He's threatening to beat up a kid in the lunchroom. And he was ugly and little smart butt to the security guard. What's happening here? So there was red flag after red flag after red flag, knowing the kid's history, nothing was done, and this poor woman gets shot. This was day 5, November 3rd, which was yesterday. Marked the defense's presentation and the $40 million gross negligence lawsuit filed by former Redneck Elementary School teacher Abby Zwerner against assistant principal Ebony Parker. The trial ongoing in Newport News Circuit Court stems from the January 6, 2023 incident where a 6-year-old student shot Zwerner in her first grade classroom after Parker allegedly ignored multiple warnings about the child possibly carrying a gun. There's no allegedly. She was warned, okay? So Warner's legal team rested their case the previous week, featuring testimony from school staff, first responders, surgeons, Zwerner's family, and Zwerner's herself, who described believing she was dying after the bullet struck her hand and in her chest. These are some of the key developments in the defense. So that's what we're going over. If I failed to say that again, we're going over the defense, which the defense has rested. Apparently, I saw it. I read it or something. So they had 1 day. The prosecution had 3 days of people coming on. All those teachers. All those teachers. And they kept some people under subpoena, which they didn't even call back. Those people, if they wanted to sit in the courtroom, they couldn't, if they were still under subpoena for that. So the defense opens and calls witnesses. Parker's attorneys began by arguing that classroom discipline is primarily the teacher's responsibility, not an administrator. Abby went to Mrs. Parker when the kids were done with lunch. Or they might have still been in the lunchroom. I don't know. She goes and tells Parker, JT is threatening to beat up another kid. And he's being ugly and mouthy to the security guy. She did report it. What do you think? Should she immediately got up and said, JT, come on in here? He just come back from being suspended for breaking Abby's phone. And then he's doing this. I mean, I remember back in the day, if a kid was suspended, you were on like a probation. Like if you messed up, then you're going to be suspended again. You're in trouble. Tell me if I'm wrong. What has happened? He just comes back that day from being suspended. He's already threatening to beat up another little boy and talking ugly. I don't know if he was using foul language. We didn't get any details of that, but he's being ugly to the security guard. Security guard probably told him, hey man, you need to knock it off, whatever. Do you think Ebony Parker right then and there should have brought him in and called his mother? Now, I know she can't tell him, you need to go and whoop his ass or do whatever. I don't know. Everybody's funny about you can't tell people how to raise their kids. I get it. And she can't do that. I just threw that out there. She can't tell him that. But she could say, you need to come get him. He's still being violent and disruptive. We need to come up with a plan for him. Nope. Which that blows my mind. Just come back from being suspended. He's in the lunchroom. He's threatening to beat up a kindergartner. I believe it was a kindergartner. So he's 6, the other boy's 5. So he's throwing around his power. So the classroom's disciplinary primary is the teacher's responsibility, not administrators. What? Aiming to establish that the shooting was unavoidable despite prior reports of the student's behavior. They called expert witness to support this, including, this is who they called: a forensic and clinical psychiatrist, Lee Hagen, which I did not watch that. I might, but it's not coming. They didn't clip that. I didn't see a clip of that. Who testified on the importance of comprehensive mental health evaluation, emphasizing that experts should review a full movie of person's life rather than snapshots to form reliable opinions. He did not elevate Zawarner's directly or opine on her diagnosis or her liability. How could he? She has trauma. I mean, duh. The woman was shot by a little kid. I'm sorry about these. This is the inside courtroom commercial that we are watching from the trial. I mean, how could he opine on her diagnosis or liability? Other expert details not fully specified in reports focused on school protocols and foreseeable, questioning whether a 6-year-old's actions were reasonably predictable. Now, we just read there had been incidents all over the nation in elementary schools. So I'm just going out on a limb here. What's going on with the teachers' union? Are all these unions separate per state, or is it y'all under one big damn umbrella? Right? So we had all these incidents that have been happening all across the United States. Wouldn't it be reasonable to think that this information would get relayed to all the schools? We have some new protocol because we don't want this to happen in our school. And that school, Rich Neck School, apparently had a huge problem with disruptive children, behavioral problems. Ebony Parker did nothing. The first time somebody said something to her, she dismissed it. Questioning whether a 6-year-old's actions were reasonably predictable. Well, I think so, because of the boy's history. He was just suspended. Then he wants to beat up another kid. Nothing's done. And then she's told that 2 kids saw him have a gun. I think she's going to win. That's my prediction. There was too many teachers who were trying to do something and get some advice from Parker. Say on cross-examination highlights, the winner's attorney, Kevin Badzina, I think that's how you say his name, and I apologize if I got it wrong, challenged the defense's narrative during cross. I do want to see this cross of their witnesses. Examination pressing whether Parker should have acted more proactively, such as searching the student after specific reports of the potential gun, rather than waiting for additional information, which was true. This built on earlier testimony from school staff who said they alerted Parker multiple times that day. Boom. And then the defense rests. By the end of the day, Parker's team concluded their case, setting the stage for closing arguments, jury instructions, and deliberations, potentially starting as early as the following day, which is today, ladies and gentlemen. I have not got a chance to look at it because obviously I am working on this show prep here. But they had nothing. They had nothing. They One day? 2 or 3 witnesses? This woman here, y'all see, she's talking to here, that's on the stand. This is the defense attorney talking to this lady. Is that going to let me? Oh, that did that. Sorry. Boom. I'm trying to get the thing. Her. She's the one I was saying earlier that had all this experience. 30, 40 years experience or whatever. And then the question, once she gave her resume, you know how they do to make sure the prosecution, everybody agrees she's an expert in her field. Okay, yeah, no objections to that. So the first question out of the gate pretty much was, does Miss Parker hold responsibility for the shooting? She's like, no. Just flat out no. I was like, oh my God. It's like I knew what was going to come out of her mouth. I was like, wow. She said no. So I knew how that train wreck was going to go. The trial has revisited the chaotic events of the shooting with no new criminal charges discussed. Parker faces a separate felony child neglect trial in December 2025. Whoa, that's just around the corner, guys. Coverage emphasized the emotional way, including Zawarmer's ongoing injuries, a bullet still lodged near her heart, and her PTSD. As previously detailed by medical experts, the case hinges on whether Parker's inaction constitutes gross negligence endangering Zawarmer and the 16 other students in the classroom. So she is in some hot water. Now, for her to be found liable in this civil case, I think she should. There was too many red flags. It's just too many. It is too many red flags. And then she's got to go to a criminal, which I need to do some research on that because I'm kind of curious on, is the state charging her in the criminal? Or is it parents? Is it Abby herself? I need to go and look at that because, guys, there's stuff I don't know. And I'm sorry. There's just stuff I don't know. Preview closing arguments. What's this? Let me see what this is going to say. I don't think we can. Unless it's going to give it to me. Maybe, well, what is it? It's almost 1 o'clock, so maybe they did all this morning. I just got an update. Let's see. Preview closing arguments in Abby. As day 6 of the $40 million gross negligence lawsuit against former Rich Neck Elementary. What a weird name for a school. Rich Neck Elementary Assistant Principal Abby Parker unfolds in Newport News Circuit Court. Closing arguments are anticipated to begin today. So no, it doesn't have it. It's just giving some details. It's centered on whether she failed. Yeah, we know all that. Plaintiffs was expected to deliver a powerful emotional charge summation focusing on accountability, foreseeable, and the human cost of inaction. Yes. Let's see. Here's ignored warnings as preventable tragedy. Prosecutors will reiterate testimony from school staff, a counselor, and other teachers who approached Parker 3 times that morning with specific concerns. The student had a bulge in his backpack resembling a gun and was acting aggressively. I don't remember hearing that, but maybe I missed some testimony of that. I don't know. There was a lot to digest. They'll argue Parker had a clear duty to search the child or escalate to the authorities, but dismissed the reports without investigation, making the shooting entirely foreseeable and avoidable. Zawarner's latest trauma. Okay, we heard that. Broader implications. The closing may frame this as a call for school safety reform, arguing that administrators like Parker bear responsibility beyond classroom discipline to protect lives when credible threats arise. I agree with that. They'll urge the jury to reject the defense's unavoidable accident narrative and award full damages to hold Parker accountable. I can assure you, I know Parker does not have $40 million. So is it an insurance from, is she insured with the school? I don't know. Where's this money going to come from? Inquiring minds want to know. Were y'all thinking the same thing I was thinking? This approach builds on cross-examinations where Bina Zane pressed defense witnesses on why proactive steps like a pat-down weren't taken despite the risks. Sorry if I just don't know how to pronounce his name. Parker's counselor, this is defense closing, is poised to counter with a consensus protocol focusing argument emphasizing shared responsibility, unforeseeable, and Zwarner's own actions aiming to minimize or eliminate liability. Anticipated highlights. This is what I was saying. I've been saying this all along, that it's been a shared blame. That was been the defense's strategy. It's a shared blame. No legal duty to intervene. They'll lean on expert testimony from day 5, including forensic psychologist Lee Hagen, who stressed comprehensive evaluations over snapshots. And I think we read that. Unpredictable act of a child, stressed the shooting age 6-year-old, and lack of prior gun threats. The defense will argue the incident was a tragic and anomaly, not reasonably foreseeable. Their reference to Hagen's point about needing a full movie to context to assess risks, implying isolated reports weren't enough for decisive action. To challenge the 40 million figure, they've highlighted Zwinner's post-shooting achievements like graduating cosmetology school, working, and gym attendance as evidence she's moved on. This drove me crazy that they were doing that, because this woman has forever changed. You cannot argue that away. Now, I showed images of her hand, or y'all can go and look, because during court, they showed how shattered her left hand was, and that it's never going to be right. And yeah, she did try to go do some stuff, but she still wants to be recluse, but she's trying to get better. She does suffer from PTSD. It's insane to me that she's moved on. Per their earlier cross-examinations, they'll portray her as a capable, suggesting claims of severe disability are overstated. Oh my God. She will never go back in a classroom again. Number one, right? Do you think this woman who was shot by a little kid is ever going to go back in a classroom to teach again? No. And that was the career she chose. So her career, as far as that goes, is over. So she went to cosmetology class, did the best she could. She went out to a few concerts with her family. She didn't go alone. So what? So you're saying because after the shooting, after she kind of got healed, her family, her mom, her twin sister talked her into, come on, we got to get you out of the house. We got to get you out of the house. And so she went out a few times, but she just wants to be a recluse. And this defense is saying, no, she's done moved on. She don't have PTSD. Now, I don't think they come right out and say that, but they're saying, well, she text messaged Taylor Swift. So? And so, of course, she's gotta move on. But every day, and this is what the psychiatrist that, the forensic psychiatrist for the prosecution said, she has visible scars scars and reminders every day she wakes up. Because her hand doesn't function properly. She's changing her clothes. She's got a bullet hole in her chest. She's got a scar. And she's got scars on each side of her hip because they had to cut her to get some kind of marrow or whatever it is to help grow the bones in her left hand. She's still undergoing several different surgeries to repair her hand. They want to try to minimize, scar tissue. So they're trying to minimize scar tissue by using this other stuff from her hips. So now she's going to have 2 scars on her hips. Bone's been removed. The bullet's still in her body. The doctor said if she was in like I don't know if he right out said car accident, but if she got a jolt or something, the bullet could move. It's right near her artery and her heart. Of course this is life-changing. She can never ride rides at a theme park, I can tell you that right now. She's not getting on a roller coaster. And hope, God forbid, she gets in a car accident. Somebody slams into him. And it just jostles her around. And then that bullet's going to move. That could be life-threatening. So then what? It's a death. If she dies from that bullet, that's a direct result from the incident. So yeah, I don't see how the jury is going to buy all of that. Blah, 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 blah. The defense rested abruptly. I thought it was crazy. Signaling confidence in a narrow case that shifts blame to systematic issues or the teacher's role in the classroom management. So they're blaming her. They're blaming her. Keep in mind, the very first thing Abby went and told the principal, told Ebony Parker, he is threatening to beat up another kid. Just got back from being suspended. I think right there, he should have been pulled into the office and his mama come picked him up because he should have been on some kind of probation. Plus, his mother and them were supposed to be with him every day. So for some reason, nobody's with him. The mother or the dad, which they don't all live together apparently, was not there with him that week. I don't know why. But she should have called and said, okay, nah, we can't have this. You're going to have to be here every day with him. He's already threatening to beat up some kid, and he just came back from being suspended. Boom. Boom. This kid is so bad, he has to have his mother in the classroom with him every day, and apparently this is not uncommon. I was watching a psychiatrist last night talk about it, saying this happens. I was like, what? What the hell is going on in these schools? In closing, concluded today, jury instructions could follow immediate with deliberation starting as early as this afternoon, which is today. 7-person jury. Okay, 5 women, 2 men. Wow, why only 7? Usually 12. 5 women and 2 men. Has heard graphic details of the shooting, emotional family accounts, and dueling expert views on protocols, leaving them to decide if Parker's inaction meets Virginia's high bar for gross negligence. The verdict could come within hours or days. Influencing Parker's separate December 2025 criminal child neglect trial. Media coverage notes the closings will likely be intense, with Zorner's side pushing for justice and Parker's for exoneration. And there you have it. So what is this school safety forms? What is this? Let's see what this is. Is it gonna give it to me? School safety forms. Where are you? Well, here we go. School safety forms have gained significant momentum in the United States following high-profile incidents like the January 2023 shooting at Rich Neck Elementary in Newport News, Virginia. These reforms span federal, state, and local laws, emphasizing prevention through mental health support, threat assessments, physical security upgrades, and firearm access restrictions. This is what I was bringing up earlier before I even read this. I was like, well, we read that first report that said there was incidents all over the nation. So I assumed that these would go out to all the schools for elementary students. It's insane. It's insane. You guys tell me what you think. And there it is. That's a wrap, Jack, on that. But anyway, yeah, I do want to see the closing argument. It's 1 o'clock where I am now. I don't know when y'all will watch this. Who knows? But I'm going to get it posted and see if I can catch it. It might have already happened. I've just been busy all morning with this show prep. Thank you for joining me. And I never usually do this, but like and subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe anyway. Just do it anyway. Just do it. You know you want to. You don't have to hit the bell. Just hit that subscribe button. And I do appreciate it. God bless and take care. And let's have a wonderful week. Here we go. Booyah.